Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in Startups. It's our 900th episode. Can you believe it? 10 years ago, we started a little podcast with a Zoom recorder on a desk, and here we are 900 episodes later. And we have an amazing guest today. Justin Kahn is a serial founder. He has been through Y Combinator 4 times. He's had a ton of failures, as he is frequently reminding everybody. But he built a unicorn, Twitch.tv, which Twitch was bought by Amazon and has become a huge, huge success. And now he started another company, Atrium. He was also had his fingerprints on Cruise, another billion-dollar exit.
Angel investor. My brother and Kyle, my Twitch co-founder, started it.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the program. Finally, I've been trying to have you on here for 10 years.
I've been trying to get on for 10 years.
I know.
I got tired of waiting outside the lobby.
Exactly. Well, it's good to see you. For people who don't know, Justin TV started when? 2008, was it?
2007. We launched it in 2007. We actually started the company at the end of 2006, as much as you can call it a company. And we launched it in March of 2007, March 19th, I think. And then lasted for about 6 months of us trying to make our own web reality show.
Yeah.
And that was the start. And most people nowadays don't even remember. They're like, what was Justin TV? They don't know.
And it then became a platform at some point where anybody could use it. But here you are. I think this is the first episode, or what is this video we're watching of you with?
With Justin TV, you can watch, broadcast, and share live video and chat with other viewers. Check out the directory for what's live right now, the schedule for what's coming on soon, and the clips page for recent video highlights.
I think that's like a promo video from the early days that I just recorded that would autoplay or something when you went to the site.
Wow. This is like your friend Tom at...
Exactly. Tom at MySpace.
Tom at MySpace. Welcome message. This is hilarious.
Yeah, so we started off as us trying to make our own reality show. And this is like before social media, before keeping up with the Kardashians. We were like, it would be cool if you just create a show about some bunch of random dudes' lives.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was not interesting in any way.
Right.
And mostly it was us playing around on our computers, programming, and people would log on and say, you know, what are you doing? Get the fuck off your computer and go entertain us. And so we didn't know how to do that because we weren't media people, right? We were programmers, engineers. Yeah. So what we did was we built this platform that was kind of like YouTube for live video, and we launched it in October of 2007. We launched it to the world, and anyone could start streaming.
Now, what phones did it support in the beginning? Because back then, we didn't have LTE or 4G. It was 3G networks.
Yeah, there were no phones. So everyone was desktop streaming from their
just desktops
streaming. Or laptops. Yeah.
Right.
And there was a lot of people trying to create mobile streams. But
what was that Nokia one? There was a Nokia phone, like the N95 or something.
Yeah, N95, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really work very good.
It didn't work at all. It was sort of like sending like a picture every 3 seconds. You jump.
Yeah.
And
we have some clips, I think, of that, which are it was like people would set up these streams off laptop computers with a 3G card, like a EVDO card.
Yeah, you'd slide it in.
Yeah. You'd plug it in the USB, and then it would connect you to the internet, and it would just be like 100 kilobits per second or something like that. So you could get this like jittery stream, kind of.
I remember at some point Robert Scoble and Leo Laporte running around, maybe South by Southwest, with like mobile gear.
Yes.
And they had laptops
like
in their backpacks.
That was the whole premise of our thing. Yeah.
With a webcam like on a stick, like literally a Logitech webcam on a stick.
Yeah. And
they would bind 2 of these like EVDO cards
together, and multiplex a video off
multiplex.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. And now people are just like take out their phone, and if you think about stories, I think actually you were kind of the godfather of the stories moment because it was the same idea.
Yeah, except with stories, like the thing is, most people running around with a live camera are not interesting 95 to 99% of the time. Right?
Correct.
Like every hour you shoot, like 2 minutes are interesting. And the genius behind stories and what Evan created with Snapchat was he was like, just take the moments, the highlights of your day, and then you can watch the highlights of your day, and maybe that's interesting, instead of the other 5 hours that you spent, messing around on your computer.
Yeah, because it's edited down. It's literally like the cream of the...
So we're kind of right there, except we completely missed the boat.
But there was some really prescient moment where you realized gamers were a genre unto themselves. Because I remember back in 2007, 2008, I was doing Mahalo, and we started putting video game videos on the YouTube,
Yep.
the YouTube, and they went bonkers, like millions of views. But when did you realize video games were what streaming was about?
Yeah. So
how did that happen?
Well, so we launched this site in October 2007, and that anyone could stream anything, and people streamed. There was a lot of like people trying to make talk shows and a lot of social kind of broadcasting, like someone would just be hanging out. And then there was this nascent category. We kind of grew that, mostly focused on trying to get celebrities and things like, more famous people to create content. The problem was they didn't really want to do it on an ongoing basis.
Right.
And so a couple of years later, this was maybe in 2010, we'd grown to a fairly big website. It was about like the top 300 on Alexa or something like that.
So you got over 10 million people a month, basically.
Yeah, something around that.
Yeah.
But the problem was it stopped growing, and we had no idea how to grow Justin TV, this web platform for anyone to stream. So what we decided to do was go back to the drawing board and basically sit in a room and try to brainstorm ideas. And my co-founder Emmett came with his idea, and his idea was let's focus on the gaming content on our site, which was only 3% of the content at the time. And so gaming was only, I think, a couple 100,000 uniques a month on our site. But his argument was, this is the only type of content that I actually want to watch.
Right.
StarCraft 2 had just come out. And so that was driving a lot of interest.
Absolutely.
And that was driving a lot of YouTube videos, and who wanted to watch live streams. And mostly they were on other people's sites. They were on Ustream or Livestream or but he thought we could focus on this and build a community around the
Teach
gaming
people
content.
how to do the Zerg Rush.
Exactly.
Whatever that is.
Micro and,
God, that game was so amazing. I love those real-time strategy games.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I stopped playing them because I was so into Age of Empires at one point that I would sit there like smoking a cigar at 4 a.m. and I'd be like, I've been playing this game since 10 p.m. Everybody's asleep, and I'm sitting like in my study.
Yeah.
As a 35-year-old grown-up playing Age of Empires. I mean, it's like chess.
When you hit like that 8 hours of playing it, and you're like, I've worked a full day at this video game.
Right.
That's when you know you have a problem.
And you're like, and I have to be at an office to be CEO in 4 hours. So what am I doing with my life? But how did you make the decision to spin it out? Because that was, I remember watching that, and I was like, oh, that's smart. 2 swings at the bat. Well, and how do you go to investors and convince them to do that? Because didn't a third startup, Social Cam,
we had
also?
Social Cams that spun out.
So you took one startup.
Yep.
And you made it to 3 cap tables, 3 swings at a bat.
Well, technically it was 2, but what happened was, so we had this company, we had raised about $7 million in venture financing.
A good amount back then.
A good amount back then. Yeah, now the rounds are, hundreds of millions or whatever. But back then, $7 million was good. There were all these other, I don't know if you remember back in 2009, there were all these other video startups like VO and Rever. And they basically all went out of business because, the market crashed. They couldn't raise any more money. The ad revenue wasn't there yet. The video ad revenue wasn't there yet. And
YouTube had just turned on monetization around that time.
Exactly. And so what we decided to do was we basically went into cockroach mode, and we just survived because we were like, we're never going to raise any more money. So we just survived and tried to monetize any way possible. So we'd add, like, there was an offensive amount of advertising on the site, et cetera. Cutting costs, brutal. Like we racked our own servers. We like built our own infrastructure. We were like in the data centers, like trying to basically to optimize costs because we were too cheap to use like AWS, right? So we spent a couple of years in this survival mode, and then finally we were like, we need to start making it grow again. And so,
and this is what, year 6 of the business?
This is 2011. So that is 5 years in. And the company was about 25 people. So we decided to work on, like, we went to that ideation meeting, and we were like, what are we going to build that's going to be bigger than this? And so we had these 2 ideas. One was Emmett's idea, which was Twitch. And the other was an idea that actually Michael, my other co-founder, who's now the CEO of Y Combinator, came up with, which was Social Cam. It's kind of a mobile video app.
Michael Siebel was your co-founder at Justin?
Yeah. So Michael, Emmett, and Kyle's a co-founder of Cruise, and CEO or former first CEO and co-founder of Cruise, were all my 4 co-founders. So
I didn't realize that.
I lucked out. I got there were 3 talented co-founders, and I got slid in the back door.
But it was your idea. I mean, you came up with the idea.
If you come up with the idea, you can, then you can.
Your spot is reserved.
Exactly. I got a reserved spot.
Can't kick you out of that seat. It's kind of your seat, founder authority.
Yep. Yeah.
So how do you?
So what happened with the cap tables and stuff is we came up with this idea for Twitch, and then we came up with this idea for Social Cam. That was Michael's idea, because we had seen Instagram. He was like, someone should make the Instagram a video. And we couldn't decide. The four of us, like Michael was technically the CEO of the company at that time, but we basically ran everything through these like horrible consensus-driven thing.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of first-time founders will recognize this. It's like when you are sitting around a table, you're best friends, but you can't decide who should be in charge, so you just like argue about everything. That's exactly what we were doing, which is a horrible way to decide anything. And so Michael and I liked I liked both ideas. But Emmett and Kyle didn't think whatever. The configuration doesn't matter, but basically we couldn't decide. So what we decided to do was we would incubate both ideas internally under the theory that if they were both successful, that was like a champagne problem to have.
Right.
The problem is, as you know, is that when you work on multiple things in one company, it is not as do or die anymore, right? People always think, oh, I can go to the next thing or whatever. So eventually what happened was we decided we needed to choose and we needed to spin one of the companies out. And so Twitch was basically the same infrastructure. It was almost like a reskin Justin TV at first.
Right.
So that it made sense to keep that as the same company. And we took SocialCam and we spun it out into a new company with some of the engineers becoming the new co-founders. And Michael went and became the CEO of that company.
All right. When we get back, I want to talk about how this 5-year-old meandering startup that probably a lot of investors candidly probably wrote off at that point. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. I think we were universally shit upon.
Right. Okay. I was trying to be a little bit more magnanimous about it. Maybe they had written it off.
Yeah.
But sure, they shit on it. When we get back, how does this 5-year-old shit on startup become a $1 billion unicorn purchased by Jeff Bezos when we get back on This Week in Startups?